everybody, and welcome to another episode here on Milwaukee Beer Review. As always, I'm Josh.
And I'm Ross.
And we are finally trying two beers that we have been waiting for the new Milwaukee Brewing Company to bring back. So, for those of you that don't know, Eagle Park bought the rights to all of the recipes and naming and all of that stuff from Milwaukee Brewing Company when they went out of business a few years ago now. They've started to bring back and have brought back quite a few of the beers that Milwaukee Brewing Company originally brewed. And these were two of our favorites that it has taken a couple of years for them to bring back.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this for a while. We knew they were coming back. We just didn't know when. We hoped they were going to come back last year. They're finally back this year. One got released, I think, fall?
Yeah, and it was like October timeframe, I think.
And then the Cherry Balance, which we talked about, just came back in the last couple of weeks. Or sometime in December, I should say. Very excited about these. These are some of our favorites at the old Milwaukee Brewing Company. At least in the beginning, they kind of, admittedly, they tailed off a bit towards the end of their time frame. So we're really excited to see what Eagle Park was able to do with these, and if they're able to resurrect what we liked about them.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, Louie's Resurrection, the first beer we're going to drink here, is a barrel-aged amber ale, which is a bit unique, I think, within the brewery space as well. Always has been a really good one. Milwaukee Brewing Company brewed it back in the day. We always loved it. And then Cherry Bounce, the second beer we're going to drink here, is that same base beer, but they add cherry to it. It was always one of our favorite releases there. And
first beer release I ever went to was Cherry Bounce, back at the old 2nd Street location.
Yeah, so I think these have some high expectations to live up to here today. So let's dive right in. What's the first one we're drinking?
So first we're going to start off, like you talked about, is Louie's Resurrection. So this is their amber ale, barrel-aged in bourbon barrels. A bit of a play off their Louie's Demise, which they kind of do different things with. But
yeah, that's their standard amber ale, and this is the barrel-aged version.
Yeah,
of that.
And this we always, again, one we always enjoyed. Excited to have it back. Do we have an ABV on this? I don't think so.
I could have looked that up beforehand.
Return of the Living Dead.
Oh,
kind of nice.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't look at the ABV on it, but I'm going to guess around 10.
Yeah,
it's not
10, 11%.
Yeah, so
something like that.
I was about to say it's not overly high, but that is high. So,
well, let's get a little nose on Louie's Resurrection for the first time in a while. It's definitely got like a sweet bourbon characteristic on the nose. Not a ton of barrel, but it's there. I'm getting probably a little more spirit on the nose than I am barrel.
And it's weird because we're so used to doing barrel-aged stouts that this kind of somewhat seems like jarring to what I think we're used to on the nose, being an amber, because it's going to be a little more sweeter. It's going to be a little more light than what we're used to. Not a lot of that toastiness I think we get out of some of the stouts.
It's interesting. I'm getting like a dark fruit characteristic to it inherently as well. We haven't even gotten to the Cherry Bounce yet.
It's got barley wine characteristics more than anything else.
Yep. It smells good.
It does. So,
cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Check it out. Oh. Ooh, that's deep.
So you kind of mentioned, you kind of alluded to it, like there are some dark stone fruit characters coming out, which is very interesting since we're not even to the Cherry Bounce yet. There's got some barrel characteristics coming out. You got a little bit of char, a little bit of vanilla kind of coming across. But that amber ale just is such a unique beer because of, like, it's just not something you see all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing starts off with the barrel. There's a little bit of a bite to it up front. I think some of the spirit, the barrel character, I get a little bit more char, vanilla kind of up front. But then those dark fruit kind of tannins out of the barrel kind of, and the amber ale kind of kick in mid-palate. And it becomes kind of this dark fruit amber, like just really, really nice kind of characteristics that come out mid-palate, and it finishes really well too. Like that That's even better than what I remember Louie's Resurrection being back in the day.
One thing I remember, like the old school Louie's Resurrection, which this one does have, is, and I don't know how else to say this, like there's a bit of like a harshness on the palate in a really good way. It brings out a lot of flavor and a lot of kind of uniqueness to it. And this one has that. It has kind of like kind of like a harsh bite to it that I really enjoy out of this one. It screams closer to a barley wine that I remember the old Louie's Resurrection coming out as. A lot of people I've talked to have already tried this. Kind of alluded to that. Some people say it's kind of like more got stout characteristics. I'm not getting any stout characteristics on this personally.
Yeah, I'm not either.
So
very
I'm happy about it.
Very barley wine heavy. Okay, so you got to give this thing a rating.
Man.
Louie's Resurrection, the new Louie's Resurrection in 2024, when we're recording this.
Yeah, I guess it's almost then.
Yeah. Where are you going?
4.25. This is what I was hoping for. This is what I wanted. I wanted that classic Louie's Resurrection to kind of come back. So I'm going 4.25, which I probably already had the old one. Really good. Really happy to see it back. So, and some nostalgia kicking in too here.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm with you on a 4.25. I was actually kind of leaning, possibly going 4.5 on this because I think it's so well done. But I'm going to go 4.25 on this as well. So,
what's next?
Up next is Louie's Cherry Bounce. So everything we just said about Resurrection, add cherries to it.
The door counting cherries. I want to mention that.
Are they door counting cherries?
They are
Did
door
they
counting
mention
cherries.
that specifically?
Door counting cherries.
Beautiful.
Do they have anything fun on the bottom? What? Bring a tear to your eye? No, bring a tear to your eye.
I hope so.
That's less fun.
I hope it does, because, well, either it's going to be really good or really bad. So, all right, to the nose we go on Louie's Cherry Bounce.
Ooh. So, very similar to Louie's Resurrection, a bit more tartness, though, from those cherries is what's coming out.
It's a similar nose.
It really is. I mean...
Yeah. I think I'm getting a little bit more natural cherry kind of characteristics.
Back, you'll see, yeah.
But that's a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's try this thing out.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, wow. Ooh.
Oh. My God. That's so good.
It's so cherry.
It's such a good cherry too. Like I think cherry is something that you don't see done in beers very well all the time. Only like because a lot of times you see chocolate cherry. It comes out very bitter and it's kind of bad, and the cherries don't really get to come out. This one, it's really like it's got just enough tartness to kind of balance everything out, but it's still got that sweetness that you want with Louie's Resurrection and kind of that barley wine characteristic.
There's a bit of a tartness, but it's definitely more of a dark fruit cherry, dark cherry kind of characteristic. And it's like, it's very natural tasting. It doesn't taste, it doesn't taste artificial in any way, shape, or form. It's really, really good. And it hits front of the palate, and it even accelerates a little bit mid-palate, and it lingers out the back.
That's cherry pie cherry.
It is.
And that's exactly what that is. It does such a good job. And I think what's really nice about doing this in amber, which we kind of allude to, is amber is not going to overpower anything. Stouts have strong characteristics. Porters have strong characteristics. Being an amber, it's a very kind of bland, somewhat malty style that allows any sort of variance you want to put on top of it to shine. And this does a really good job of that.
Yeah, I was going to mention, and to add on to your point there, the fact that this type of cherry characteristic is showing so well, I think is because it's an amber, right? Like, you put this in a stout, and it's going to kind of be a little bit messier. It gives the cherry prominence because those other characteristics aren't overpowering it as much. And yeah, it's interesting how much the cherry takes over the palate on this, because I am still getting kind of that base Louie's Resurrection in this, but the cherry is so prominent, and I want it to be in this, that you lose a little bit of that, but in the right ways.
That's so well done. And again, you talk about nostalgia. This is one where nostalgia is kind of coming out a bit. Again, Cherry Bounce is one of my all-time favorite releases, especially around the 2016, 17, 18 time frame. I think it kind of, I'm not gonna say went downhill, but it didn't taste the same for a little bit. This really reminds me of those like classic years of this.
I know we did one of the last releases of Cherry Bounce from the original Milwaukee Brewing Company on a Hop Takes episode. I'll link it down below. And I think the first comment we made when we tried it was, "Where the heck are the cherries?" Not a problem here.
Yeah, 100%.
Not a problem here. Yeah. So, okay, Cherry Bounce, the new Milwaukee Brewing Company. Where are you putting this one?
Easy 4.5.
Yeah.
Easy 4.5. Somewhat debatable 4.75. I'm going 4.5. This is so well done. It's so good. It's such a nice change of pace to this time of year, from all like the heavy beers that we have, to have this kind of mixed in there. I'm so happy it's back. So happy. You're thinking 4.75, aren't you?
Oh man, I am gonna go 4.5.
Okay.
I can't quite go there. Yeah. I do wish, if there's one thing that I wish it had a little bit more of that base Louie's Resurrection shining through. The cherries might almost be a little bit more than I want, but like I said earlier, it's hitting the right notes in the right places, and I'd much rather have it there than it be missing entirely. Mm-hmm. Like that's what you want this beer to be, as a stack on top of that. Yeah. So 4.5, but flirting with a 4.75. Well done.
It brings a tear to my eye.
Brings a tear to our eyes, yes. Glad this is back, and glad it was done so super
really well done.
Wow. All right. That's fantastic. Well, hey, Milwaukee Brewing Company here on the channel, Louie's Resurrection, Louie's Cherry Bounce. Have you tried either of these? Did you try the old ones? Have you tried the new ones from Eagle Park / Milwaukee Brewing Company? What do you think about these? Let us know in the comments. Check us out on the rest of our social media channels. We are on Instagram. We are on Untappd. We are on Facebook. We are sometimes on TikTok. Maybe if TikTok's still around, we don't know. You can also find us here on YouTube. So like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see all of you in the very next episode.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.